New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says migration from all third world countries is paused permanently until the U.S. immigration system recovers. This follows the fatal shooting of a National Guard member by an Afghan national who Attorney General Pam Bondi says should have never been allowed into the country.
They did very little, if minimal, vetting on all of these people.
Trump vows to remove non-citizens who aren't net assets. Jaquan Stembridge, the youngest assistant secretary in Georgia GOP history, has resigned after being caught in a child sex predator sting in Athens. Stembridge, who chairs Georgia Teen Republicans, allegedly tried to meet an underage boy. No arrests have been made, and the party will fill his vacant post. And boxing stars Shadeja Green and Clarissa Shields are trading jabs online. Green accuses Shields of lying in a video montage, while Shields dismisses the feud as hype and points to her record. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Let's take a moment to celebrate great things happening inside our schools. NOLA Public Schools achieved a B District Performance Letter Grade. Orleans now exceeds its pre-COVID district performance for all students by more than 8 points. For the second year in a row, Black students from New Orleans outperformed the state average in all peer districts. For all other subgroups, economic disadvantaged students, multilingual learners, and students with disabilities, we also saw growth. Let's keep up the amazing work.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
It's cold. No. Let's put it. Well, no, I can't quite do that, WS.
Come on.
But what I can say it's it's a little chilly, right?
Okay,
because
right.
if it was really cold,
well, okay,
that's a whole nother way to explain.
All right, this is my New Orleans version of cold. Now, when I was in Chicagoland, when I was in Philly, no, this ain't cold. But I pulled out my Chicago jacket today.
Chicago, look.
I pulled out my Gary, Indiana Chicago jacket today.
My first year.
All right, so I'll say this
cold.
This on the high end of cold or the low end of chilly.
It ain't that cold. Because you know cold.
Look, I do know cold. That
hawk?
That wind whips through your bones. Whips through.
It's a predatory bird.
Oh,
man.
my goodness. Woo. Well, folks, it's 7:03 a.m.
And we up.
And welcome to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK, 12:30 a.m.
Huh?
I am Will Sutton.
WS, man. You know what I call
you're Oliver Thomas.
You know what I call you, WS?
Well, you can do that. But,
writing superstar.
Oh, come on. I got Oliver Thomas.
People who can't read can write. Blind people can read your article.
Oh,
so
come on.
good.
If somebody read it to them, yeah.
People
they have a little
people
braille,
who can't read, right? Can all of a sudden, the way you're so fluent with your pen.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think Ms.
Effervescent in your thoughts.
I think Mrs. Levin from Cone Junior High School.
Ain't nobody doubt it. And Dr.
In the
Sutton
ninth
and Mama
ward,
Sutton.
who told me I could write. And I was like, you kidding me?
Yeah.
She said, you can write.
Yeah, you can.
I
Hey,
was
man,
like, you
first
can
of all,
write. I was like,
God gave you that
okay.
gift, man.
I was like, okay, then maybe I'm on to something.
And now we here talking, right?
So maybe I don't go to medical school. Maybe I don't go to law school. Maybe I write.
Yeah.
Maybe I write.
You write the things to provoke people to think about, to go to medical school, what medicine does, what science does, especially what it does to our community. So, WS, writing superstar. Now we here talking, man. And there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna from here I'm gonna go back to my laptop.
Yeah.
I got a draft in my laptop.
Yeah, you know when I say right,
it's about what I saw Monday.
Ooh.
It's just my perspective, just one black man's opinion. That's all it is. That's all it is. People just, it's just one black man's opinion. And, and frankly,
you do good
I had too
and
many words. I had too many words.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have to keep whacking and whacking, but
chopping and
I'll get some of my points across.
Yeah, well,
so I'm going to save that.
And it's the beauty of what you do at the morning show. First of all, man, thank you for lending your time and talent to this platform. And what men and women here do is necessary. As a person who's in the news a lot, it is so refreshing to have a point of view and the level of information disseminated that I think is more objective and fair than most other news outlets today. And I listen to the show because I will comment to you when I'm not when I'm not here. I will text you. I'll even call in if I think I
Yep. Well,
something to say. But appreciate what you do here. You don't have to do this. We're glad that you do.
Nope. And it's more of a regular thing these days because that's the way things happen.
That's the way things
are helping out, and can you fill in or assist? And you had me on any number of times, and next thing I know, this year is like, okay, come back, and so now I've been here for a number of months. But let me say, to give a little context, Black radio and Black media have been a part of my life for a while. Yes, I have worked for mainstream
you is
media.
Black, huh?
Always going to be.
Forever.
I like to tell people, I'm
breaking news.
I know there are a lot of happens to be. I know it. And I understand when people say that they've achieved so much and that they're a doctor who happens to be Black and they're a judge who happens to be Black. Ideal justice.
You lead with that.
just not.
Yeah.
Because I was Black before I was born.
Right.
I just was.
Right.
I just was a journalist. I didn't have any thoughts before I was Black. No thoughts, and certainly no thoughts about journalism or career or life. I had no thoughts, but I was Black in the womb. And so to go into the media part, part of my growth as a journalist was at St. Aug when we used to have a school newspaper, when schools had newspapers.
Yeah.
That was a Black environment that built on that confidence shot that Ms. Loving gave me in 7th grade in the 9th Ward. And then in college, I worked for some mainstream operations, but I also worked for the Norfolk Journal and Guide, and I worked for the New Norfolk Journal and Guide, which I thought was a little weird. You actually go put new on the masthead, new, but that, didn't own the paper. Right. But that gave me a different perspective with connection to community. And when I was in Philadelphia, WHAT, Miss Mary Mason, no offense to you, but Mary Mason was Oliver Thomas in Philadelphia before Oliver Thomas was Oliver Thomas at WBOK.
Amen.
Thank Mary God. Mason.
Thank God for Mary Mason.
Mary Mason, oh my Lord. But, hey, you take it because there's going to be something else coming in. It's coming with love, And Gary, Indiana, WLTH.
Wow.
So, just little bits and pieces of life along the way.
From the lower from the
lower
night wall.
Just little pieces along the way. And so that has helped informed my work at mainstream, quote unquote mainstream.
Right.
I do have some issues with mainstream. I won't go into it a lot, but mainstream often means white.
And a certain point of view.
And that's right. And so it's about if you're in that system, how you can change that system and continue to change that system. And that's a part of what I have done with whatever I could do. So anyway, that's just the beginning of my little take on mainstream. But, media and news media in particular, it's really important to have diversified media. And it's been important to have that for centuries.
Yeah, I think that was
centuries.
Yeah, that's the point that I was trying to make, and that this platform becomes more necessary. And as our country and political and economic ideology and socio-economic ideology move farther one way, it's important to have outlets like this and the Tribune.
Yep.
And to have writers and experts and people who have not only studied the craft but mastered it, like you. And I think we got to go to break, guys. And
we got to go to break. We got stuff
happening.
Yeah, we got more stuff coming up on the show. I'll tell you real quickly, and we'll talk some more in just a minute. But we got City Council member Joe Giarrusso joining us on this show. And at the time that he was scheduled, he was City Council member for District A and the City Council budget chair. And now we know he got a new title. So we're going to have more about that.
Got a promotion.
After the break. Big promotion. Big raise, too. Yeah. And we also going to be talking about what is a legacy school.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wonder who passed that resolution.
Oh, all right.
I wonder who did that.
A legacy school
in New Orleans, guys. So look, hey, look, give us a call 504-582-9422.
Yeah. So we're gonna have some time for that. So I know some of y'all got some thoughts about that. Yeah, it's 7:12. We got to go to break. We're over the break time. We're going to go ahead and take this break, and when we come back, we're going to give you more of the news, information, conversation, and the talk, because that's what we do on the talk show. This is WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News.
Hey, y'all. Make sure.
This is Oliver O.T. Thomas. Happy holidays to you and your entire family. Blessings this holiday season.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. This morning, the NOPD is investigating a Central City shooting that sent a man to the hospital. New Orleans police say this happened a little after 6:30 p.m. Investigators say a man was shot and found near Clara and First Streets. We're told around the same time another man walked into a local emergency room with a gunshot wound. Right now, it's unclear if the two cases are related. Then the New Orleans City Council will hold a special meeting today to discuss the city's ongoing budget woes. The council will consider several items. That includes appropriating a portion of the city's savings fund, also known as the Reserve Fund, to help the NOPD cover ongoing personnel expenses. These weekly meetings are now required as part of an agreement to secure more than $100 million in bond funding from the state. And finally, growing criticism causing the sale of new memberships at the Audubon Institute to be paused. This comes after many membership holders found out on Black Friday that their yearly membership cost would nearly double. Audubon officials say they're developing most cost-effective alternatives. A statement goes on to say they hope to have those plans available by mid-December. And that is
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton, and right here is Oliver Thomas. Oliver Thomas from the Lower Ninth Ward.
Yeah. All the way from CTC across that canal.
Yeah.
We from the 9 and we do mine.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I was on the other side of St. Claude, and
right next to the bridge.
They call that Holy
Cross District. We called them the River Rats back then.
That's
remember?
right.
Well,
So
but that's the truth.
Right.
Back of town, front of town, and the River Rat.
Yep.
Everybody got different.
Right at the bend, Industrial Canal, and the Mississippi River. For those of y'all never been there.
Running around Will Sutton house with Averill with all them cheering. And Mama Sutton saying, "Man, come, hey, stay in that backyard."
It was a safe place for the Thomas folk.
Yes, it was. One of the places my parents didn't mind me being in. Because I could eat and be looked out. I could eat, y'all, have a meal and be cared for.
Yeah, yep. Well, were you always going to the Sutton house when you said you were going to the Sutton house?
That's what I always said, y'all. Yeah, even if I was. Let the truth set you free.
Okay, all right. That was a long time ago. Please forgive him, Lord. Please forgive him, Lord.
I'm going
forgive him, Lord.
Will.
Okay.
That's where you're going. Yeah.
All right. So look, one mayor at a time.
You would think it used to be.
We'll be talking about that some more. And it looks like we're going to be talking about that almost every day. Seems like the mayor woke up and realized she's still in charge. She's still the mayor.
The mayor got tired of people punching her in the gut and slapping her in the face.
That seems to have. Meanwhile, we got a mayor-elect.
Yeah.
And Mayor-elect is on the move. And yesterday,
she using her ammo.
Absolutely, positively. And made some big appointment announcements yesterday. I mean, this is a part of what you do with the transition.
So the victor goes
you don't wait until you're inaugurated to say, who should I pick?
No.
You go through a process. They've been going through a process. They got a website. That's the front transparent part, but nobody's going to share their 100 candidates for chief administrative officer. Well, whoever the other 99 were, a familiar face, got the gig.
Yeah, and he's going to be on the show with us this morning.
And that is Joe Giarrusso.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Joe.
Budget chairman, councilman for District A.
A little different title, as I understand it, though.
The Legacy family.
So it is Chief Administrative Officer / First Deputy Mayor.
First Deputy Mayor.
Yeah. First Deputy Mayor.
That means he's
first among equals is how we used to say
that
it back
mean
when I was
he's in front of mayor to take the bullets.
Right, yeah. So Chief Administrative Officer, First Deputy Mayor Joe Giarrusso. Congratulations. So he moves from city council budget responsibility to city budget responsibility, according to the Home Rule Charter.
And operations.
And operations. So that's a big move. Yep, absolutely. And another one is Mayor-elect Helena Moreno is poaching from the New Orleans and Company. We got Kevin Ferguson. WBOK friend of the show.
Yeah.
He's here on a regular basis. I think he might be coming in this week.
Yeah.
But looks like he's jumping ship and going to help the mayor-elect.
Yeah. Right offer was made.
As chief of staff and deputy mayor.
Mm-hmm.
So another combo title, chief of staff and
I think we're going to see a lot of that.
Deputy mayor.
For a few people, anyway.
Yep. So he's going to be responsible for communication policies and intergovernmental relationships. Now, I have not talked with either of them about what that means, but let me just give you a little context for my experiences covering various city councils, city halls, state governments in different states. So persons who establish and oversee communications policies usually are not the press secretary. And a lot of people, whether it's at the White House or anywhere else, you see the press secretary, and you think that person's in charge. They ain't in charge.
Not at all.
they are not.
That's a buffer.
They are not in charge.
That's a buffer.
Of the communications policy.
That is a buffer.
They are the press secretary.
The mouthpiece.
Yeah, that's right. And it's an important job. You got to be up to it because you're out there right with the firing line.
Yeah,
and then intergovernmental relationships, that can be defined in a number of ways by any governor or president or mayor. But with Kevin's background with New Orleans and Company, with Saints and the Pelicans and other things that he's done, tourism, hospitality, I suspect she's building on his experiences and networks and backgrounds.
Well,
with that piece.
Look, as a citizen, right? And of course, when I'm here,
yes,
we talk, right? I take my political hat off.
You can't take it off entirely.
I'm waiting to see. I'm not leading with judgment for or against anybody. All I can tell folk is that I know there are a lot of people who were very well resumed and who may have had big jobs in their private life. When they got into that government building, no matter whether it was the White House, Baton Rouge, City Hall, or the outhouse, something different happened.
It's a whole different thing.
It is a whole different thing. So for me, I'm going to welcome these people who were selected. Kudos to the mayor-elect. I'm glad she's putting these people forward early. Mm-hmm. I would hope that they would have been vetted early, and I'm sure they were. She's got a lot of political veterans around her, and she's got basically the entire Landrieu team. You know, some are saying this Mitch 2.0. I don't know. I mean, we'll see whether it's that, but and that's smart. I think you want veteran consultation mixed in with what you want to do and your new ideas. So we'll wait to see these people, how they perform and how they carry out their charter role.
And Dr. Jennifer Avegno is staying on.
Yeah, but everybody knew that.
But,
I mean,
she's been saying
that's
that
the
for
favorite daughter
and
or the favorite son. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Avegno could do no wrong with this, with the city council.
Well, she's very good.
Yeah.
She's very good, and she can.
Stephen Wonder could have told you she was going to keep her.
She can take the heat if the heat is coming, and she's very informed and still a practicing doc. But her role.
Well, I'm gonna give you some pushback on that because that's the important thing.
All right. Well,
and one of the reasons why I don't go overboard over people in their roles because, contrary to some of the relationships, and now we're talking, there were a lot of qualified people who maybe didn't get along with people politically.
Oh, sure.
There were members of the administration who council members didn't like and treated differently. That's all part of it. So Dr. Avegno was good at her job, as was a lot of other people, and many were not.
Yeah, right. No, I get that. So her title with the Cantrell administration has been Director of New Orleans Health Department. Her new title with the Marino administration will be Deputy Mayor of Health and Human Services and Chief Medical Officer. So there are some other agency operations that are folding into her portfolio as a part of consolidation and dealing with some of the finances. And you know, when you're mayor elect, you say, I want to combine this, I want to get rid of this, and that's a part of what's happening with that.
So
role.
Let's be a little entertaining here. I like the chief medical officer piece because if the mayor-elect or the CAO, the lead mayor, one of the deputy mayors, gets a chicken bone caught in their throat or has some medical, she could be right on the spot to give them CPR. She'll be right on the spot to give them CPR if they go before a hostile council or have some issues, and that's a good time.
Okay, all right. And we got Charlene Gibson, who's going to be the new city attorney.
Okay.
Of course, with the city attorney position, things have changed with the charter change. Mm-hmm. So the city attorney has, according to the charter, always been responsible, as I understand it, to the mayor and the city council.
Both.
But in practice, Sometimes maybe the city attorney, always selected by the mayor, but has
That's been an age-old discussion.
the mayor, and not just this mayor. I mean, that's kind of been an ongoing thing.
Yeah, the first time it was really public was when I was an assistant, and I remember the late Joe Geruso, Jim Singleton, Dorothy, members of the council, with Okla Jones. I was a legislative assistant, just come back home in '87.
Mm-hmm.
And they would battle with Okla. Who you represent? Well, I represent the city. Yeah, and Okla would actually sit in the city attorney's office, would have an attorney at the meetings sitting up on the dais with the city council.
Mm. Now, which end of the city council chamber would
the end they gave him?
Oh, come on.
No, he would be to the far right.
All right, like where you sit to your right?
He would be to my right.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And if he
That's
wasn't,
actually a pretty good position for something like that because you can get up a little more easily.
It is actually the perfect position.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that practice stopped, but that person, and if the city attorney wasn't there, then the representative of the law department would be there. And there are a lot of things that used to work that were changed over time.
Yeah.
So hopefully some of those things about operation. The most interesting thing to me, and Gerard and I used to talk about it when I came back home, and then a reporter asked me what was the difference in my institutional knowledge, seeing how government operated, and being out of office for 14 years and coming back, was a lot of the things that used to work that government didn't do anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of the institutional knowledge was gone.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a good thing. I think you need a good mix of old and new and what's it going to be.
Yep. Well, I want to mention one more, and we got to go to break. We're over. I apologize, Mr. Producer, but we're talking. We hope the people enjoying the conversation. We got former New Orleans Police Chief Michael Harrison returning to city public service. He will be the Deputy Mayor of Public Safety. So he's been police superintendent here in New Orleans and police commissioner in Baltimore. And with the Moreno administration, he's going to lead the Office of Criminal Justice Coordination and the city's Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. I do like the Homeland Security piece, and we'll be learning more about these specific roles and others to come. So that's the big news yesterday for the Moreno administration leadership team. At the moment, more to come. We're going to go to break, and when we come back, we'll be talking with the incoming CAO and First Deputy Mayor, Joe Geruso. Previously scheduled, folks, wasn't based on his new position. It was based on a December 1 budget passage mandate by the Home Rule Charter and having him come on a day or two after that to talk about what happened, whatever was going to happen. And here we are now.
Yeah, but Joe's been accessible to the show even before I got elected.
Yeah.
When he became budget chair or as a council member of District 8, we would do our updates. I mean, every council member would come on the show except one. There was only one council member that did not come to the station during that time. Yeah. But all have been in the past.
Yeah.
So
and people have been invited.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. All right, we're going to break. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Chilly first half of the day, but at least we'll see more sunshine. Highs eventually rise to the upper 50s and lower 60s. And then for tonight, dropping to the 40s and the 50s. But I do have a lot of rain on the way for Thursday and for Friday. Those 2 days are impact days. We could see 2 to 3 inches of rain. A little bit of rain left over going into our Saturday. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Tired of the impersonal one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule. No excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
This is Eddie Francis. Happy holidays to you and yours. Don't eat too much, just enough.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. The voice you hear right now is Will Sutton, and the other voice you hear is Oliver Thomas.
OT, man, what a beautiful morning to get up. But then again, anytime you get up.
I am so blessed to have yet another day, day. Folks, it's 7:32 a.m. You've got to be somewhere at 7:30. You're late.
Don't rush.
But please slow down.
That's right.
We got babies going to school. And we want you to watch out for them. School zone limits are in effect until 9 a.m. It's not like last week and everybody was out of school. Slow down, watch the babies, watch yourself, take care of yourself, and don't be one of the crazy drivers. Pay attention.
No, don't be any of them.
And I've been guilty at points, but try not to just be on your phone or taking another sip of coffee when you're supposed to be pulling out.
Or rushing if you're already late. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not going to get there any sooner.
The only thing
you speed up.
Look, the only thing I used to tell people every morning is, look, first of all, be happy you got up. You're already late. Don't jeopardize your life or the lives of others.
Yep.
And then there's one other thing, third thing I would remind them of. Have a new story.
Yeah.
A couple of days before, you told your boss that your goldfish had puppies.
Yeah, right.
And that was an emergency.
Yeah,
especially if goldfish had puppies.
For you.
But don't use the same story.
Yeah.
This morning or tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Have a different.
Mix it up. All right. Well, right now we're going to jump into conversation with City Council member representing District A for a few more days and the City Council budget chair. But we got the big news yesterday that Joe Giarrusso is getting a big promotion.
Man, big dog.
First deputy mayor and chief administrative officer. So good morning, Joe. You're on Will Sutton and OT. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Joe. That's a show, too.
Good morning. So, Oliver, can I say my goldfish had chicken pox? Is that okay?
Yeah. Just don't use the same story. Because your boss might remember, right? But now you're the boss, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
We're all going to work together.
So, Councilman, We invited you here in your role as budget chair before the budget would pass, with the idea that the budget had to be passed on December 1.
Had to.
But that did happen. But obviously you knew when you were invited that something else was in the works. Is that correct?
Yeah, by Monday I knew. That is a fair thing to say, Will. Although it is funny, I mean, obviously we had conversations, but I did not get my official letter or notice till last Wednesday. So before then, the press had asked me plenty of times, and I kept on saying to them, and it was the God's honest truth, I have neither been offered the job nor have I accepted it.
Yeah, right.
Well, and the one thing I can say is that Joe's car for the last couple of weeks has been the only car usually left in the lot when I leave late in the evening. Fact. So he has been there working, which is what his lineage and his work ethic lends itself to.
Yep. So congratulations on the new gig, Mr. CAO. Appointed. I guess it's not CAO elect, but
no, it's appointed.
that's effective on January 12th, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Here's a little fact, though, guys.
All right.
I didn't realize this, and we dug into it. Of the people who have to be appointed, the CAO is not one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Although I suspect I will go answer questions and make myself available because you want to get off on the right foot with the new council. That's important.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, would you have a thought that maybe the CAO has to be approved by City Council, or you think it's was the right thing not to?
I think it's
not to have it.
Well, let's ask him.
What do you think, Joe? And then I'm going to ask OT.
Yeah, I mean, look, one of the conversations Oliver and I have had over the years, and I don't mean to put words in your mouth, so stop me if I'm wrong, is are you making laws and rules because they're in the best interest of the public, or are you doing because they're one person? And you got to be really careful about the second one because there are going to be new administrations. There are going to be people who do things differently. I would tend to think that somebody like the chief of staff, the CAO, that are really sort of the 1 and 1A hires of the administration, you want to let the mayor have a great deal of flexibility. I also know, others have expressed concern that when you start allowing the council to up or down, does it inject politics in decision making as opposed to who's the right person for the job? And look, if people decide they want the CAO to be appointed, I get it. But at the same time, you're going to have a super majority of department heads who are appointed too. And I think that should give people a lot of comfort because that's the people who are doing the day in and day out directing and overseeing the department.
And I'll make this easy. Ditto.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Ditto.
All right.
But Joe knows my position on
all right.
The role of the charter roles of both, and we've had some healthy discussions. I've agreed with some stuff, and I've disagreed in terms of the mayor, the chief executive officer of the city, having the ability to pick and have certain people that are not bound by the hopes and wishes of the business community or the legislative branch. So I feel the same way, especially with what he just said about those two positions.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one more CAO question, and let's get to the budget. Are you excited? And what's going to be the same? What's going to be different with you in that role?
Yeah, I am excited. The first conversation you have to have is with your spouse about all of this. And after she questioned my judgment, the next thing she said was, I know you all have had strong ideas about what execution should look like, and now this will become a proof point where you get to see what it's like. And I thought that was a really, really fair way to put it. And I'm obviously excited to work for the whole city. I think that's really important to make sure that this is not one part or one segment. This has to be for the entire city, and to go from there. Obviously, you can't blow everything up. One of the things we discovered, and I know Oliver has said this many times too, is there are some really fine people, public servants, not just bureaucrats, public servants who are working inside City Hall. and you want to make sure that you maintain some continuity and institutional knowledge and knowing where things get done. And at the same time, I think the biggest thing, and again, this is a place where I think OT and I are very much aligned, is communication is king. And we really just got to do a really good job of making sure you have that contact. And so I said this yesterday, but I think it bears repeating. I've spoken with all the new council members. My plan is to meet with them on a weekly basis, probably Tuesday afternoon, because that's when the week starts gearing up for them, but they're not fully in the mode of committees and council meetings. And then also, when we first got elected, we had budget briefings and utilities briefings before the biggest things. And after COVID, that went away. And I'd like to bring that back. I really think it's important that we don't get to a council meeting and have a council member say, well, I didn't know this, or how come I wasn't read in on that? And obviously, it won't be perfection, but you've opened the lines of communication. I think that's all that anybody wants.
Well, that sounds good. I lied, Joe. I lied. I said one more question. What happened to the law firm thing? I mean, you just pushed that aside, or
Hold on one sec, Oliver. I need you to pull the Eugene thing here, right? We have the one last question. Right?
You know what? No, look, Will does that now. He will follow up the last follow up.
Is it a
but
St.
that's the
Aug
journalist.
Thing? Did they learn this at St. Aug?
Yeah,
that's right.
No. So look, honestly, that was a really hard part of this discussion. Is I'm at Phelps right now. I'm leading the governmental relations section for a huge law firm. And it was a really hard decision, and particularly because I really felt welcome there in a very short period of time. I think the sort of tipping point for me was it feels like to help get things on the right track, that you want to have people who have roots in the community, who have relationships already, who can hit the ground running very early. Obviously, there are going to be things I learn and get better at along the way, but the learning curve is shrunk because I've been inside for the last 8 years. And I felt like, particularly at this time, with so much turmoil, hopefully you can just bring some calmness and cooperation to the whole operation. And that's exciting. The challenge is exciting. I think, in addition to working for the people, which is the most important thing, the challenge is kind of what has me excited about all of this.
Yeah, and that law opportunity, I've said in a lot of executive sessions, and I'm not an attorney. I've listened to a lot of lawyers, right? And I'm not a lawyer, but I've listened to a lot of decisions, and I've heard Joe correct or either help attorneys with some decisions that have kind of led us down the wrong way. I'll leave it at that because those sessions are private. But that opportunity is for to be an attorney, the brilliant attorney is that'll always be there. I think part of what I've learned about Joe, and I don't want to speak to you, is that you're mission driven. When you talk about legacy and lineage, the love for the city. So I'm just extremely hopeful that he'll be able to use all of that to help right the ship and create a city and an organization that works. That's what I'm looking forward to as a citizen.
All right, Mr. Budget Chair. We got a new budget, $1.6 billion. I have not polled every single city council member, but I was there on Monday, and it does not appear that any one of you wanted to vote for this particular budget.
Well, I think the hard part is the budget is not what we want it to be. And when you're in multiple crises at one time, it's hard. Particularly, and I'm not saying anything bad about the at-larges, okay? I want to be very clear as I make this. But when you're a district council member, you're constantly thinking about your district. Again, I'm OT, has been very strong in saying, this is what I need in New Orleans East. These are the programs that we want to bring here. This is a grocery store we want to see here. Eugene, about Ninth Ward Field of Dreams, or other infrastructure. Freddie with Algiers in particular, the needs that are over there. Leslie with homelessness. I tend to be more of an infrastructure person. And because you have to now sacrifice for your collective districts, for the good of the city, that makes it hard. And I think I don't think anybody's animated about it, because you're trying to figure out what we need to do to make sure we deal with the loan that has to be paid back. You have to rein in spending, and at the same time deliver quality services to people. And that's a tall task. It is. So, in years past, I think my colleagues will agree, we tried really hard to be candid with each other about, this may be a luxury item you're asking for, this may be a want, and these are the needs, and the needs are harder. And with that said, I'm going to maybe segue or bleed a little bit here. Again, in the new role, my hope would be, hey, the thing that costs $20 million we can't do right now, but if there is a pothole that is killing you with a certain constituency, or a light that's been out for years, or the stop sign that's been missing for 6 months, let's work on getting that. So I don't think anybody was super happy about this, because it's just a series of hard decisions and sacrifices for the public and for all of us.
Yeah, and Joel, I'll add that to it, and it's not the stop sign that's been missing for 6 months. It's been missing for 6 years.
In certain neighborhoods.
It's the pothole that's been in the same place for 12 years. And, the delivery of service, look, we will never have all the money to do what we need to do. It's been estimated in previous administrations that just the Sewage and Water Board would be several $1 billion if you dealt with the old infrastructure, right? The Build Back America that we thought, that plan that Mitch Landrieu headed for the Biden administration, was about trillions of dollars of old infrastructure for old cities. Old suburbs will soon start to experience the same thing. But the expectation, the reasonable expectation of a citizen, and I'm going to be one, is that if I call a department, if I make a 311 call, if you make a 911 call, it's dealt with the level of emergency and efficiency as possible. Now, will you have the money to do it all right now? No. But you should be able to reasonably expect that somebody seriously took that call, took that email, and it's in the pipeline, and it will be done within a decade or two.
I agree with that. And to your point, I'll say this because he didn't. Oliver had a group of constituents in District E who were tracking lights, and they had a spreadsheet, and they sent it to all the council members. And I remember, and I won't repeat the words that were in my head because they're not suitable for FCC, but he was right. There are lights that have been at 6, 7, 10 years. Yeah. And that is not acceptable. It is not acceptable to have something as basic as lights being out for that long a period of time.
Yeah, Tangi Wall, Carmelita McKee, Miss Eva, and Pastor Deborah Morton. They were constantly tracking.
Hey, guys. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt. We got breaking news, and we're going to get right back to talking about the city and the budget. But the breaking news is that the U.S. Department of Homeland Security this morning has now announced, yes, we're bringing Border Patrol into New Orleans. So they're making it official, acknowledging what we all know from all of the reports, especially from the Associated Press. And that will be happening later this week. We'll get back to that during the show before we're off. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew.
Yeah, I'll be on CNN today.
That is happening. That'll be happening. All right, Joe. So let's get back to what this is. So one of the things is the breakdown of the revenue expectations. And that is a part of coming up with a $1.6 billion budget with some different numbers than the city was working with on October 1. So let's talk about that. Right now we got to take a break, but let's talk about that right after the break, because I think that's like an important piece that I think WBOK family of listeners.
You don't have a budget without revenue.
Understand. Absolutely. All right, so hold on tight. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Losing a loved one is tough enough. Do you really want your family dealing with court battles and paperwork on top of it?
Whether you choose a will or a trust, think ahead. Take care of your family. Let them focus on healing instead of headaches. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
My name is Darius Henderson. My name is Cornelius Frazier Jr. And on behalf of Echo Media, we would like to wish everyone a happy holiday.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and we're going to jump right back in conversation with Councilman and Budget Chair, CAO2B, Joe Giarrusso. I'm Will Sutton. This is OT. Councilman, let's get to the new revenue. So this is a part of an important part of how you have a darn budget in the first place. But you all came up with some different estimates. So walk us through some of that. I think people will be particularly interested in the balance of furloughs, which is a cost saving. But even with cost savings, and there are other cost savings, but you have to have revenue. Talk to us about the revenue estimate.
Well, I hope I don't lose your listening audience while going through all of this because it's numbers. But yeah, look, the things we talked about have been things both the administration and the council have discussed over the years. What really boiled down to was rolling up sleeves and just trying to find as much additional revenue as possible. So there's 4 different buckets of money, Will, that really just had not been added to this budget that I thought, and I think Mayor-elect and the council, Oliver, thought was important. So let's start with the first one, which is the Sewage and Water Board has a receivable according to the city, which means the city says Sewage and Water Board owes that amount of money of $80 million. Now, clearly, Sewage and Water Board does not have $80 million sitting around, but they owe the city tens of $millions of dollars for FEMA reimbursement. And some of that is just a process of getting that money in. Some of the money is coming in November. Some of the money is coming in December. Some of it will come in next year. But when you look at the reimbursements, the comfort level was, and this isn't the full amount, but a little less than $30 million will be reimbursed to the city to use as revenue this year. So that was the first one. And again, we'll look at the other pockets of money and how we deal with all of that, but felt like this is a very good, safe first step. The second one was money from Wisner. I think everybody knows there's been a dispute about Wisner and how we're dealing with that. But the bottom line was there's Wisner funds available. And so 3 little pockets of money there. There's $4 million in federal taxes that got paid that we probably didn't have to pay because we're a city and not a person or a business. So recouping that $4 million. The lawyers actually had us adjust down the next number, which is the revenue we're going to get for next year, from $6 million to $4.8 million. So that's money we expect to get from the holdings of Wisner that remains. And again, a little less than $5 million. And then because of the settlements that we had with LSU and Tulane, and because of the money we had on hand, there is about $7.5 million that is in the bank right now. And I know OT asked this question the other day, letting you know right here on the radio, I'll forward it to you too. The last 1.5 of that hit our Chase account earlier this week. So all of that money is that 7.5 is in hand. So you add all of that up, it's about $14-15 million. That's the second source. So now you're at about $45 million between the Sewage and Water Board and Wisner. And then look, we all know that the city got a fair amount of money from the federal government through the American Rescue Plan. The hard part is there's $43 million, $42 million remaining. But there are a number of things that just had not progressed down the field as much as they needed to. And again, to your point, Will, and I think others too, to try to avoid further cuts, further layoffs, further delivery of services, the thought was, how do we go in there and look at programs that just either aren't moving, haven't been invoiced, or just not going as quickly as they ought to. And there's a little less than $15 million there. And then the last one is about parking. And the budget did have the hiring of more ticket collectors. I mean, it's funny, before we passed this, the last 3 weeks, I've heard a ton of people say, I'm parking downtown with impunity. I know I'm not getting a ticket. It's not happening. And so hiring more people to collect, we put $7 million in for that, but the projection is really $21 million. But it's going to take time to hire people. And again, this is about being safe and not overstating your revenue. And then having stricter collections too. I mean, I think the city has been documenting has owed over $100 million with either parking tickets or traffic camera violations. And a very conservative estimate of like collecting $5 or $6 million for that. So you add all 4 of those together, you get to a little less than $75 million. And again, I'm OT's there; he'll speak for himself. But I was at I'd much rather try and go capture more revenue, try to provide more services, make sure the furloughs don't have to be any deeper than they are. And it just felt like if this was money that is there and that either needs to be processed or paid, that we should go pursue it.
Joe, there's some interesting studies going on across this country now, especially when you talk about metro areas or urban corridors or major cities. And as a matter of fact, I'm researching, doing my study now, preparing to come back here and assist Will and them when I can. To how we track and how we follow those things, how cities' budgets have grown, but deliveries of services have not, or the ability to deliver service. And so many are questioning whether it's a revenue thing versus organization, the right people in the right places. And some are even questioning work ethic and how governments work. Many governments, our city's 300 plus years old. Our charter's been amended based on what the state has done. how will you, especially because I know you're forward thinking, how will you take a look at that? Because especially given the way people are struggling now, the answer can't always be growing government and more money. It has to be how we deliver services.
I totally agree with that. So look, I said this yesterday. This is the way I feel. I got my start in all of this by being a neighborhood president. Mm-hmm. And when I go to neighborhood groups, and I tell people all the time, whether you're in Holly Grove, Dixon, Leonidas, Lakeview, Uptown, almost everybody talks about the same thing. They want to feel safe. They want to know the streets are taken care of. We already discussed the lights. I mean, that's what people want. So I think the two things are, first, there just has to be operational discipline with making sure that we're triaging the oldest things first and working our way down. Because, Oliver's 100% correct. You're not going to fix it all at one time. So how do you work backwards to forwards to deal with all of those issues? And then I think the second one is, you've brought this up before too. It felt like there were better quality of services, and yet the personnel side had swelled, and you're not seeing the services, but you're seeing the personnel grow and grow and grow. And look, the hard part about this, I think the mayor-elect has said it, is there will be cuts of about 40 unclassified employees. There won't be hiring of other positions that are open. There are probationary employees who will not be retained. And so it's got to be about reorganizing the workforce in order to deliver the services first. Mm-hmm. It should be less about my kingdom or to the victor goes the spoils, right, and more about delivering services and quality of life.
And then lastly, Joe, before you go, it's been important, and I've heard it from being a legislative aide to just monitoring and watching government, but people have, very few people understand the burdens that the state places on the city, whether it's criminal justice mandates, whenever they change, the criminal code, which the state does that, or there are 2 Senate bills that are costing the city about $18 to $20 million because the state decided to change the law as it relates to building and materials and rental cars and stuff like that. How will you sit down with our state leaders and say, hey, man, y'all can't just raid us for revenue. You got to be mindful of when y'all pass certain laws and certain House or Senate bills, the impact it has on city revenue.
Yeah, I mean, look, one of them, this, just for the listening audience, because Oliver's been in the mix on this, there's now a lawsuit about the traffic cameras and whether or not that violates the Home Rule Charter. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things I would like to see, and again, I'm not trying to throw shade or cast blame on anybody, but hey, if you are going to do this thing in the legislature, then tell me where I'm supposed to make it up somewhere else. You can't always be in a do more with less. Mm-hmm. And, I know part of the ethos is from my friends across the aisle that they don't want the federal government telling states to do. Well, the state also needs to have that approach with municipalities and making sure that we can stay healthy. And look, the other thing, too, is you don't want to have to rely on the state for more resources. Let us generate revenue. Yes.
We got to take a break. Yeah, I know we're supposed to let you go. I need you to stay for another few minutes. I really do. Okay. I think this is really important. And I don't want to, wait for, 3 days or next week because right now I think we got people's attention about the budget with the passage of the $1.6 billion. I want people to understand a bit more. And if it bores some people, I want them to understand how important this is, and this has an impact on your life no matter who you are, in whatever neighborhood, where you live, work, and play. Right now we're going to break. Be right back with Council Budget Chair Joe Giarrusso. It's 8:04 a.m., WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
Let's take a moment to celebrate great things happening inside our schools. NOLA Public Schools achieved a B District Performance Letter Grade. Orleans now exceeds its pre-COVID district performance for all students by more than 8 points. For the second year in a row, Black students from New Orleans outperformed the state average in all peer districts. For all other subgroups, economic disadvantaged students, multilingual learners, and students with disabilities, we also saw growth. Let's keep up the amazing work.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton, and with me is OT. We're on the line with Joe DeRusso. Thank you, Joe, for staying longer than you had planned. But I think this is really important because
he's still at City Hall. He slept there last night.
I know.
His car was there when I left, and it was dark, Joe.
But this revenue portion is so critical. And just because the budget has been passed at $1.6 billion, the revenue estimates are just that. They are projections, and these are new projections. And so
projections.
These are projections.
That's what I
wrote. So you want these projections to be superseded by what you hope are conservative projections. But sometimes, as happened with the Super Bowl, we came up short.
And the Taylor Swift Bowl.
We came up short. So as we look into the new year, we should expect, I think, some decent tourism from the Sugar Bowl and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And then, of course, with a ramp up of Carnival season and the Mardi Gras period and Mardi Gras Day, and we get into festivals, and then we look at the continuation of conferences, conventions, and so forth, and the various tourist things that happen. But part of it is that's focused on the tourism and hospitality, but so many people's jobs are tied to tourism and hospitality, and we sometimes overlook the things like parking tickets, unpaid parking tickets. We sometimes overlook the things such as who's owes property tax and who's owes taxes on their businesses. And, some of them have been getting away with that for a while. And so some of us feel like that is just not fair. That I pay. No, I don't make all the money that they do, but I pay and they don't pay. So that's a part of revenue estimates and projections, is it not?
It absolutely is. And look, Will, my first lesson on this was when I first got elected, and I had a street in my district where 2 blocks were getting new drainage and the last one didn't. And boy, did those neighbors scream. And they were right, because they see it as an issue of fairness and equity and what are you getting. And listen, my view has been shaped by folks like Oliver and others on this is you don't use enforcement to weaponize and shut down people and to go after my fictitious Miss May in Gerttown who has maybe like her shutter hanging sideways. And I'm sure there are people who have 1 ticket that are unpaid at this moment. But it's, again, where do you start big? If you have somebody who has, I'm going to make up a number, $3,000 in outstanding parking tickets, or you have a business that owes the city $10,000 in business taxes, or you have somebody who's claiming a homestead exemption that's fraudulent because somebody died and it's still in their name, that's not right. And we're leaving money on the table. And look, I think the 2 ways I feel about it are, 1, let's go maximize the collections that are there right now. And then 2, what are the revenue things that we can do that don't hit people the hardest, before you start talking about revenue generation in other places. But I think the first one is really important and in line with the budget the council passed that recognizes new revenue is, again, how do you do better enforcement? And look, I think to your other point, Will, like this is implicit in what you're saying, is it's about fairness too. I think people have a really strong sense of fairness. And when they feel like I'm paying my taxes, I'm playing by the rules, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I know my neighbor isn't, that doesn't make them feel good. And it doesn't mean that you have to be overly harsh or overly aggressive, but it means you apply rules fairly, consistently, and predictably, and people know what they are. And if you're violating them, then there will be consequences.
And I want you to address with our WBOK family of listeners the comments by Jason Torres Altman from Terra Luna Collaborative, who made a point at the meeting on Monday. I was there, saying that the relying on those ARPA funds is not appropriate. He made a point that it's that's not a good basis for that part of the revenue projections, in part because if we walk down this path, according to him, I'm just kind of paraphrasing what I think I heard.
That was breaking news for him.
That it will have to be repaid to the Treasury, and we might find it out in as little as 3 months. What's your response to what you and others and I heard him say?
Well, look, first of all, I always want people to speak up and have debate, right? Like, I think that's very important, even if we don't see eye to eye or there's shades of nuances in what's happening. So don't ever want people to feel like debate should be squashed. Now, with that said, number one, I have both been a number 2, a number 3 in an organization, and a number 1. And when you are not at the very forefront of making decisions, your line of sight is about what affects you. And that's perfectly normal. But it's not about what affects everybody else, too. And this is my way of thinking. I thought it was more important to go try to keep people at City Hall who are working there, doing their jobs, to try and ease burden on radically decreasing the workforce and trying to deliver services. And so I understand the frustration on their end, but Will, one of the points I made too is all of those city contracts clearly say that if there's non-appropriation of funds, the contract's canceled. And you may not like the provision, but why do the city and state put those provisions in there? Because there may be times when priorities change and circumstances dictate or warrant a change in what's happening. And so, I hear very loud and clear what their point is, but if they're being honest, they knew when they signed the contracts the money may not always be appropriated. And I understand feeling like you didn't know, but at the same time, the contract is very clear, and you have to go in with eyes wide open that that's always a possibility.
Well, look, I know you and Councilman Thomas have to prepare for a meeting. We could talk to the end of the show, but I want to let you go. Continued. I really appreciate your extra time this morning, especially with all that you and others went through this past holiday weekend to get the budget to the place that it went. Want to give a special shout out on WBOK, as you all did on Monday, to Ms. DeLarge, in particular, for sticking and staying and working through it. And I know there were a couple other folks who were central to that with working with you, transition team, and others.
Well, as someone who was there, first, congratulations to Joe on his new position. I think him and I had a conversation about it privately about 3 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
I was glad when I congratulated him.
Right.
And he said, "Hold on."
Right.
I'm not
right.
sure yet. It gives me some comfort knowing that there's a veteran, someone with political lineage, history, and institutional knowledge that's in that position. I don't think we had that with the last CAO. I don't think we've always had that. That's an important position. It needs to be a person that the mayor can trust and that the citizens can trust. Joe, you opened up with communication. Communication is going to be extremely important, especially with somebody like me here with Will a few days a week, and how you break stuff down. But I think that's the strength of the mayor-elect is in communication. That's where she comes from. And Joe's strength is that he believes, and he's matter of fact, telling people where we are in the beginning, whether it's good or bad. I've respected that about your grandfather. I respect that about you. I'm tired of hearing rosy pictures being painted by politicians who are not willing to enter an uncomfortable discussion.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to you succeeding, and we're here to help you, man.
Well, I know it's a cliche. I know it's a cliche.
Thank you all so much. And thank you for shouting out Brandy, Will. Really appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I know it's a cliche, but I'm going to say it. I think this move was a stroke of genius.
Wow. Thank you all so much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right. Have a blessed day.
You too,
and we'll be in touch. Folks, you're listening to WBOK. And we're going to be talking about cars after the break. I think we should. I think we should talk about cars.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think we should talk about cars and then we'll roll on into a conversation about high schools and legacy. What is a legacy? Who should be a legacy? Yeah, y'all think about that. All right, you're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. This morning, the NOPD is investigating a Central City shooting that sent a man to the hospital. New Orleans police say this happened a little after 6:30 p.m. Investigators say a man was shot and found near Clara and First Streets. We're told around the same time another man walked into a local emergency room with a gunshot wound. Right now it's unclear if the two cases are related. Then the New Orleans City Council will hold a special meeting today to discuss the city's ongoing budget woes. The council will consider several items. That includes appropriating a portion of the city's savings fund, also known as the Reserve Fund, to help the NOPD cover ongoing personnel expenses. These weekly meetings are now required as part of an agreement to secure more than $100 million in bond funding from the state. And finally, growing criticism causing the sale of new memberships at the Audubon Institute to be paused. This comes after many membership holders found out on Black Friday that their yearly membership cost would nearly double. Audubon officials say they're developing most cost-effective alternatives. A statement goes on to say they hope to have those plans available by mid-December. And that is a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day.
This is your Saints Hall of Famer, Tyrone Hughes. Want to wish the whole WBOK audience happy holidays.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. It's 8:18, so I hope you're already there. You're supposed to be there at 8:15. If you need to be someplace at 8:30, depending on how close it is, maybe it's 5 minutes away. You're probably in good shape, but it's 15 to 20. Slow down. The school zone limits are still in effect. As always, during school days, please watch out for the babies. Take care of yourself, and you're not the crazy driver, but please pay attention to the others that are, and make sure we don't have any news to report that involves you. We're going to be talking about legacies in a bit, but right now let's talk about cars, because cars has come up now. Mayor-elect Helena Moreno says that the incumbent mayor, LaToya Cantrell, has 4 cars in the mayoral fleet, and that's 3 too many. So she's going to have 1 car. Now, which car, I don't know. Whether it's going to be a compact SUV, a big size SUV, or we getting one of the existing cars or a new car, I don't know. But there is a little bit of history with cars and city government cars. So let's move this outside of the mayoral piece for a second. There are city cars that people need to do their jobs. There are now, but I'll use a tax collector as an example. Does a tax collector need 3 cars? Okay, so how many cars does a mayor need? The mayor-elect says 4 cars is too many. The incumbent mayor says, I have 3 cars, and I need them, and the new mayor doesn't understand what she doesn't understand.
Well, I'm going to lead off with this word, petty,
Okay.
but it's part of a conversation. I don't know how many cars the mayors have. I know several mayors that have had more than 1 car. The times, my institutional historical knowledge, I don't know how many cars the mayor-elect or the new mayor will want or will have. I just think we're getting into some territory now. Yeah, it's good. It's good gossip news. It's good social media news. It's good gotcha news. But there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done versus driving Miss Daisy right now. And I don't know. It'll be up to the mayor-elect to determine if she even wants a car or not, or if she even wants to take a salary or not. People are hurting right now, right? Yeah. So it's very easy to play on what government officials may have if they're doing a job or not doing a job, especially versus people struggling right now. Because if you would take a poll, people would say all the politicians ought to take a cut in pay, or furlough their pay, or cut their pay.
Oh, yeah.
Take their cars.
Yep.
Whatever privileges.
That happened with the government shutdown at some point, and it wasn't 43 days in. People say, well, wait a minute, y'all ought to not be paid.
Whatever privileges folk may have. People will say, hey, man, you don't need security. You don't need a police officer here or someone there. And that's just the nature of the level of frustration right now. But does that solve the problem? Does that get us in the room to do the things we need to kind of ease that frustration so people can see us working and performing the work? So, look, I didn't jump in a lot of, and you heard me say this at the meeting, I didn't jump into a lot of the soap opera stuff early on because I grew up with politics under Dorothy and Jim and the older Jojo Russo and many others who were real mature at this game. And yeah, did they haggle? Did they fight? Did they debate sometimes? Yes. But they got in the room and did the work. I haven't seen much of that.
So how many cars do city council members have?
1.
1 each?
1 each.
Has it been that way for a while?
As long as I've known.
Why do city council members need cars?
Well, if you only have a family car, then to get around to go to meetings, to attend government functions, you're on government time. It's always been that you don't take it for personal use, but that usually you're working 7 days a week. It's why are elected officials considered part-time when it's really 24/7? Why do
people don't see you at the store and say, I wanted to talk to you as citizen Oliver Thomas?
No. Or if you want to keep it really real, in the last several years, more government officials have been killed or shot, or threatened or assaulted than in the previous decades before.
So there's a degree of security.
It just comes with the job. I mean, I think there were a couple aldermen or council people, 3 or 4, killed in the last couple of years We see what's happened to federal officials. And I don't know, it's a level of anger and tension out there right now that in many cases, look, you see me rolling around by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just go to the second lines or walk the streets when it's election time because I'm comfortable in my neighborhood. But do people confront you? Absolutely. You know, is there a lot of attention because people are struggling today? Absolutely. We see that from council meetings to protest at the White House now, to protest in cities where people are actually assaulting law enforcement officials, government officials, and agency officials. That's the time we live in. Now, that may not matter to some folk, but it matters to the people who love me. It matters to my children, my grandchildren, and I'm sure all those other officials.
Yep. Well, I've been in jobs where I had to punch the clock.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in jobs where I had to sign in and sign out for a break and then sign back in. Yeah. But I also have had a job at one point where, congratulations, here's the salary, here's your benefits, here's the stock, and
just do the job.
And here's a car. Yeah. Now, was that public service? No, but it came with the job. What were they going to do? Say no?
Yeah,
No.
I mean, there are a lot of people driving around every day.
So there are a number of people in jobs that are not in public service, and a vehicle is a part of the compensation package, and is also an important part of doing the job. I was a freaking editor, so I wasn't responsible to taxpayers per se, but I couldn't go anywhere without people looking at me as the editor.
Look, if people want to take those things, then I mean, do a charter change, or a policy change, right? Or for those elected officials who like to make that an issue, get rid of it. You don't have to take your salary. You don't have to use that car. You don't have to have government perks. You know, you don't have to take advantage of those things. But I just think there's so much more, especially right now. We're looking at a looming deficit, a potential deficit moving forward. Mm-hmm. And if people haven't noticed, violent crime is on an uptick right now. We're glad that we're below the levels we experienced 10 years ago, 6 or 7, 12 years ago. But our school system, they're closing schools right now. You know, our kids and families are struggling economically. What does the data reports say? That African Americans are poorer than they were from the middle of the Landrieu administration. So whatever good things are happening, it's not benefiting black families and black women and black children economically. So there are a whole lot of things that have to be dealt with, maybe for some people, including whether somebody's driving a city car or not.
Well, it's something people are talking about, and you know, and I get it, and
I do too.
You know, and again, you know, this is one of the benefits of having being from this wonderful city, but having experiences in other places, because in Gary, Indiana, the mayor had a car. In Grambling, Louisiana, the mayor had a car.
In Timbuktu.
In Philadelphia, the mayor did not have a car.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor had access to multiple cars, depending on what
if he had to go somewhere.
Was
he
doing,
was on city time. Correct.
You know, that
it wasn't
kind of
assigned
thing.
To him, but he used them. I remember.
Yeah, right. So, I've seen this in other places. Mm-hmm. Can there be excesses? Absolutely, positively.
Mm-hmm. So
sometimes we see that with New Orleans police or Chicago police or elsewhere, where it's a take-home vehicle, but it's not like you're supposed to be taking family road trips.
So let me ask you this question,
vehicle.
Because you asked me the question about city cars. Should we live in America where only the wealthy serve, that have their own fleet?
Absolutely
not. That have, well, our incoming mayor is going to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Probably could buy her own fleet.
Right.
If she wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And people are going to have to make that decision at some point. So if you don't, one of the things I've said publicly is, man, I miss having that community activist, being elected anymore, being on a board,
right?
Being on a commission.
Yep.
And those voices are missing. And so to me, we were moving to an age where only the wealthy, only those people who have access to money are serving more and more in positions where everyday people used to have a chance to get elected. And I don't think it's good for America just to have folk who don't need this and who don't need that because their families or their trusts have accumulated all the wealth and access that they need already. That's not the kind of America I want to see when you talk about elected or public service.
Absolutely. I got it. All right. Well, look, folks, it's 8:30 a.m. You got to be there at 8:30. I hope you're walking in the door or walking up to the desk. Hope your laptop is fired up, phone's ready. Send a little note to the boss. Let them know I'm here and I've checked in. Or jump into that meeting or prep for your one that you got at 9. Like OT, he's got a meeting at 9. So you're going to be you're sticking and staying with us for a few more minutes?
We agreed to have, especially since we drew down on the money for the state, that every week we would have a meeting, basically, so where the money's allocated, making sure payroll is met, and making sure that the labor part of it, the loan is being taken care of. So it'll be a quick meeting with the police department and what they're doing, and getting that out of the way. And then I'll be on CNN for 2:15 today.
2:15. All right. Okay. Watch out for that. All right. When we come back, we're going to be talking about legacy schools in New Orleans. So you know something about that. Has a little something to do with that. And we're going to be having my colleague Marie Fazio, education reporter for the Times-Picayune, NOLA.com, who's been looking at this, talking to people. And we certainly want to hear from you. So write the number down if it's not already in your phone, 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. What is a legacy school? Who should be a legacy school? I know some of y'all have some thoughts about that. You're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Chilly first half of the day, but at least we'll see more sunshine. Highs eventually rise to the upper 50s and lower 60s. And then for tonight, dropping to the 40s and the 50s, but I do have a lot of rain on the way for Thursday and for Friday. Those 2 days are impact days. We could see 2 to 3 inches of rain, a little bit of rain left over going into our Saturday. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Every year, the lights return to City Park, and as if by magic, so do we. Families reunited, kids wide-eyed, old memories meeting new ones. Celebration in the Oaks is more than a holiday tradition. It is where New Orleans comes together to shine. Don't miss the magic. Make Celebration in the Oaks your holiday tradition and help City Park shine for generations to come. Go to celebrationintheoaks.com and grab your tickets before they're gone.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
The National World War II Museum, located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans. The National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule. No excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Hi, this is Troy Henry, one of the owners of WBOK and Equity Media. And on behalf of myself, my family, and my company, Henry Consulting, we'd like to wish you a very, very, very happy holiday.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Well, good morning, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. We appreciate those of you all who are listening on AM radio and those of you who are listening on the internet. And yes, we appreciate those of you all who are listening and watching on Facebook Live. Hi, y'all. How you doing? Here we are, live and in
Morning
person.
time.
Yep. Well, as always, I want to remind you the school zone limits are still in effect until 9, so please be careful out there. Watch out for our babies. We don't want any of them hurt. We don't want you hurt. And I just want to give a shout out to all the assistant principals whose duties include transportation. So they have to leave their offices and admin and be outside and usher students in and coordinate the buses and the parents dropping off. Assistant principals, kudos for you on this particularly cold day.
But right now,
we're
in the
going to
studio,
jump in the conversation with my colleague from the Times-Picayune, NOLA.com, Marie Fazio. And just a reminder, I am Will Sutton, and this is Oliver Thomas in with me today. Thank you for returning.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So you're going to come back another day?
We'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep talking. We'll keep talking.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we got Marie Fazio. She covers education for the Times-Picayune, NOLA.com. And that includes all kinds of things. And today we want to talk about something that crosses from city council into schools.
Into culture.
Into
tradition.
Culture, because it's about schools and school names and that kind of thing. But before we do that,
who is you?
Who is
as
you?
my auntie would say
who
in
your
New
mama
Orleans,
is there,
in New
Marie?
Orleans vernacular.
Who your mama in there?
Who you is? Marie?
Yeah, come on.
Love this. Well, thanks for having me. Happy to be here. I am Marie Fazio. Like Will said, I cover education, so that means K-12, higher ed, the whole gambit in New Orleans. There's a lot going on, a lot to cover. Been here for about 5 years.
Where you from?
With the paper. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida.
Who's your mama?
A.C. Sanders, who used to play at the University of New Orleans, was a good friend of mine. And we would play summer league ball together years ago. He's from Jacksonville, one of the finest people I've ever met.
Really?
So, yeah, one of my good friends, Jacksonville.
Oh.
You grew up in Jacksonville your whole life?
Whole life, yep. Born and raised, yeah. I know there are a couple Fazios around here. I think with 2 Z's. I keep hearing about a Dr. Fazio, maybe from way back when in New Orleans East, possibly.
But right now, you're the only Fazio that matters, right?
Yeah, right.
I appreciate that.
How'd you get into journalism?
I did one internship at the local Jacksonville paper, the Florida Times Union, just by way of luck, and I couldn't believe that people did this for a living. You just go out and you talk to people and you tell stories, and it's a great thing to do for work.
So in New Orleans, schools and tradition matters. I mean, purple and gold for life, right? Crimson and gray. Fred Luda will tell you, ain't no better school than Lawless and Clark. How did you pick up on this particular story? Because in New Orleans, it's part of our culture and tradition. Where you went to school at, right?
Yeah.
And nowadays, is your school even still around?
Right. And that's something, when I moved here, I got asked that question all the time, and it took me a couple occasions to realize, people want to know about high school. They don't care about where you went to college.
Right. Yeah. Right. Correct.
And I think over the past couple of years, this is one of the pervasive threads that it's kind of in every story. Going back to, if even in like stories about test scores and a high school identity is so important for people who live here.
That's a great way to put it. School identity.
Yeah. And I mean, you could look back to the mass overhaul after Hurricane Katrina and all the changes that happened there, and how many schools don't exist anymore, and the mass reform and kind of the shifts that happened with like the big networks coming in and renaming schools. And of course, some like KIPP, Booker T. Washington have gone, and Frederick Douglass have gone back to adopting these legacy school names, but it's something that comes up all the time.
Well, to me, Will, and first of all, thank you for doing this piece. I was so excited that you were willing to give this the time and talk to people about it, because it matters here. School identity, and like you said earlier, when you came here, the first thing people wanted to know is what high school. Now what college? You went to not where you're from. What high school? Mm-hmm. Hopefully that you would name a high school here. School identity is important to New Orleans. I'm not sure that it's important to NOLA.
How do you differentiate those?
New Orleans is our soul. New Orleans is the essence. It's what we breathe. It's the second line. It's this glorious, grimy town. It's what we eat. Our menu, which tradition could be different every day. You got to have fish on Friday. You got to have some red beans and rice on Monday. NOLA is just a place you move to or you visit. And what prompted me to do the resolution was the fact...
Just last month.
Was exalting or encouraging the school system to not forget legacy schools was the fact that it seemed like a lot of that tradition that's still important to us was being diluted, or in many cases being gentrified. Now, how do you gentrify legacy in schools? To me, it's similar to what's happened to many of our traditional or historical neighborhoods.
So I'm sure some of you all went to high schools in New Orleans that you can no longer visit.
They don't exist anymore.
Because they don't exist anymore. Should we consider those legacy schools, even though they don't exist? Or if there's a building, is that the way you can be a legacy school? You have to have a building. You have to have a property. You have to have Valina C. Jones, where I went to elementary school. Do you have to have Joseph S. Cone Junior High, where I went to school, but ain't there no more?
But that was the conversation.
You know,
the depth of the conversation me and Ms. Fazio had, which was really encouraging to me, because the building may not be there, but it doesn't mean a plaque or a symbol, or a cornerstone, or something couldn't be there, because just Sarah T. Reed is closing now, right?
Yep.
There had thousands of people that came out for their alumni picnic.
It was huge.
You know, and I attended. My wife is a graduate of Sarah T. Reed. Joseph S. Clark has produced some of the most prominent people in this city. Fred Luda and I, and David Belfield, and many of us who graduated there, we anguish about that all the time. But there's no building. The building is there, but there's no school there. There isn't anything that memorializes that effort. So legacy could be treated differently, and I think you're opening up that conversation now. So not only can we just begin to define what is it, what isn't a legacy. But if I consider it legacy, it's a legacy to me.
Right. And we'd love to hear from you. The WBOK talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. I'm sure there are other folks from Clark who feel like that's an important legacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. I'm sure there's some Sarah T. Reed folks that feel like that's a legacy.
Right.
I'm sure we know there's McDonough 35 people who this ain't my school building, but this is my school forever.
Mm-hmm.
We know that's a legacy. Let's hear from a caller. We got Reverend Calhoun from the Lower Ninth Ward. Reverend Calhoun, good morning. You're with Will Sutton, OT, and Marie Fazio. What's your legacy school?
Roof.
Reverend Calhoun?
Reverend Calhoun?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can
now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, legacy schools are important. Where we come from and who we are, a lot of times is defined by the high schools. So, yeah, I think that there should be some remembrance, something that identifies that area, that ground as what was there or what came through there. As we look now, we find that there are going to be more and more school closures based on the fact that we don't have the population to go into these schools. So it's going to be interesting to see what type of formula is brought about to make sure that there's some remembrance of the schools that were there. Now, I don't know. Have you been participating in the conversation about changing the colors of Southern to green and orange? But,
right.
Yeah, well,
Miss Fazio, and at some point you're going to jump in.
Yeah.
This is the colors. The Carver Rams, right?
Yes.
Right.
That's their colors, right? So Reverend Calhoun is a graduate of Carver, so he would like the world to be green and orange.
Yeah, right.
Well, no. With Marshall
That's how
Park now
profound and
being
important your article is.
Yeah.
That's his point.
Okay, I see.
Bye, Reverend Calhoun.
Goodbye.
He brought up a really good point.
You may want to get in that conversation.
You just proved our point.
Yeah. He brought up a great point, though. This is probably school closures are going to happen in the future, and new schools for New Orleans, the Orleans Parish School Board members have, they've laid out the demographics. There are too many schools, too many seats for the number of students who live in this city, and obviously our population continues to decrease. People move out. So this conversation is going to keep going, and it'll be interesting to see how the school board and the district prioritize legacy schools and whether they move to honor those legacies in a way.
But I think that's why your call and your article and your work is so profound, and why Will are captivated by it, is because you're taking us to a place that in many cases is inevitable without any discussion about people like Reverend Calhoun, who would love the world to be his high school.
Yes.
Colors, or the next caller, who is probably one of the most, and my mother, who went to a school that one of the first places that African Americans could be educated.
All right, let's take another call. Good morning, Alicia. You are on with Will Sutton OT and Marie Fazio. How are you?
Good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Not one of the schools. The school. The McDonough 35. 1917. I am the fourth generation. My daughter's the fifth generation. Talking about legacy, we all in our families have those long time legacies. But I'm calling also, first let me say I'm sorry, Reverend Calhoun, that you couldn't get into 35. we tried to get to you an honorary diploma because you could not get into 35, and we shouldn't keep being punished for you coming in and talking about George Washington Carver, which I love George Washington Carver, and I like to give
but it ain't 35.
It ain't 35, but I want to say this real quick about Carver. St. Aug was not the first school in the city of New Orleans to do the Who Dat chant. It was Carver.
Yeah.
It was the fall of 1978. So St. Aug, stop the lies. Carver, get your rain. But I'm calling in particular. I did write in the comments. I'm not a fan of Miss Fazio. Miss Fazio and the Times-Picayune, her writings have always been mostly hit pieces against people who are not anti-charter, but anti-charter of the Orleans Parish. She has wrote pieces against advocates and educators who are trying to promote the traditional public school model. And the things that she writes, I've written into her several times to make corrections to the stuff that she said about those people and the individuals. I don't like the fact that Times-Picayune is coming on to WBOK with their agenda, and Ms. Fazio is one of them. She supports wholeheartedly this pro-charter debacle that our children are suffering for, and our children are going to jail because they're not being educated. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Alicia.
So maybe this is a chance through this article and this research that you're doing now to understand the importance of tradition and legacy, and that, maybe when you finish during this piece, people like Miss Alicia and others who assume you're pro-charter or anti-legacy and anti-traditional schools will get another chance to see another side of you.
Sure. And just for the record, we are not pro-charter or anti-charter as a newspaper. We just cover what is happening in our school system. And
you're part of an education team?
Yes. There are 3 of us covering Jefferson Parish, New Orleans, statewide education. And as always, everyone should feel free to reach out. Any comments, any concerns, any story ideas. We want to highlight the good, the bad, everything in between.
How can people reach you?
I can be reached via email at mfazio, F-A-Z-I-O, @theadvocate.com. That's the best.
Give that one more time.
mfazio, F-A-Z-I-O, @theadvocate.com.
All right. Very good. We're going to take one more call, and I know you got to go, and we're going to have to make room for the front porch in a bit, but I want to get Mama D on. Good morning, Mama D. You're on with Will Sutton, OT, and Marie Fazio.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I was listening in as usual, and I thought that, we were pretty lighthearted. But the other person, female, who just came on and was talking about the Times-Picayune, so I said, yeah, I'll call in as well, because I'm not as lighthearted with the conversation. But I was wondering, it's been a few years that I read an article that talked about the student-to-teacher ratio. And some of our better schools, they have a lower student-to-teacher ratio. So with all of these schools that are closing, I have a granddaughter who's in school, 35 desks in the classroom. So if we could just make all of our schools smaller sizes, then maybe some of our underperforming schools can do better instead of closing them down and making overcrowded classrooms in some schools and not in all. So if anyone has any recent data about that student-to-teacher ratio, I would love to know about Sarah T. Reed. Go read.
Any context based on the reporting that you've done so far about student-teacher ratio in the context of enrollment at schools?
We actually have been looking into this over the past couple weeks, and there were a couple schools whose class sizes seemed far above state average, and I think this state law says you can't have more than 34 students in a class, and this state keeps records based at every school how many classes they have that have 0 to 10, 10 to 20, different class sizes at each school. And And it's taking a little longer than we expected because what's happening is I've been going back to the schools that have the state reported outrageously large class sizes, and they've been saying the state data isn't true, and they've been sending their own. So all this is to say, I think that's a great thing for us to look into, and I appreciate you talking about this. It's important.
And what's that email address again?
mfazio, F-A-Z-I-O, @theadvocate.com.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you, Mama D. Appreciate your calling once again. You have a blessed day. All right. So we're going to be wrapping up momentarily. We're going to take one more break, Mr. Narn, or are we going to go straight through? Straight through now? All right. Okay. Well, any last thoughts about legacy schools or coverage of education that you want to share with our listening audience?
I think it'll be something to watch over the next couple of years in New Orleans. I think it also kind of coincides with the debate over district direct run schools. The Leah Chase School right now its future is kind of up in the air. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the school board will likely weigh in on whether it'll operate next year in the next couple weeks. So I think if anyone's interested, there's a meeting on Thursday at 5:30 p.m. where the school board will discuss specifically the Leah Chase School and the possibility of more district-run schools, I'm told. Mm-hmm. So if anyone wants to go out and make a public comment, that would be the time.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, taking time out of your busy day and your busy morning to come and share with us with a particular focus on Legacy School and taking the criticism and conversation information and rolling that into the professionalism that you desire to exhibit as you go about doing your work. We have a lot of things that are need of coverage, and as I point out here on the Good Morning Show, it's always good to read and listen to various media. So we want you to stay tuned to WBOK, the Good Morning Show, but also the Front Porch, a Reality Check, Elevated Conversations, the Tavis Smiley Show, where you're going to get different types of perspectives. But it's an important thing to look at NOLA.com, Louisiana Weekly, the New Orleans Tribune, Data News, because each medium, each outlet covers things in a different way and has different priorities and, of course, resources. So we'll be watching the Border Patrol news as it develops today. It's breaking news that they have officially announced it today. It is not breaking news that they are coming and that they will be here, because we've been on top of that for some days and some weeks now. But now that they're acknowledged that they're here and coming and they'll be in full effect this week, I want to caution you all that no matter who you are, please don't make assumptions based on the spelling of somebody's name, the pronunciation of somebody's name, the melanin or lack of melanin that somebody has, because if you pay attention to what's happening across the nation, there's not one ethnic or race group that is being targeted with these immigration efforts. So I strongly encourage you not to think that this is about the other people. This is not about the other people. This may be people who don't speak a language as their first language that you speak, but believe me, they're not doing this strictly based on language. And they are doing some of this based on looks. And we're in the gumbo of New Orleans and Southern Louisiana, and some of us look some kind of way. So You don't know, and I encourage you to have your papers and your identifications and make copies of SANE, because in some cases across the country, some of these things are being asked to show as proof, and they're not giving it back to people. And so then you're without. So please, please, please pay attention today and each day in the coming days. Apparently they will be here this week and into the new year. And I want everybody to be alert. This is the Good Morning Show on WBOK. Lord willing, I'll be right back here on tomorrow morning. We're going to make way for the front porch. They'll be on in moments at WBOK. WBOK, 12:30 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about. All day long.